I'm with Ricard, who is the owner and MD of Room 17 Games. Now, you guys will probably not have seen me much at all before because I've only just started working with the guys at Room 17. Ricard has brought me on from a nice meeting at the UK Games Expo this year, based on some of the work that I do in terms of promotion and video creation and just generally being an inquisitive geek. And it's going to be my job in future to bring you as much information as possible about what's going on at Room 17, the upcoming projects, talking to the designers and the art team, and getting involved. Basically, your point of contact with this company. Is that fair?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
And because I've only just started with these guys, I have a hell of a lot of questions to ask everybody to get up to speed, to find my feet and work out what's going on. So we thought, what better way to do that than to throw up an interview between us both where we talk about what's going on, what projects I'll be working on alongside Ricard and the team, and what's coming up in the next 6, 8, 12 months.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting.
Too much.
I won't pretend like I haven't already seen some of the stuff that's coming up. So hopefully you guys can live through my excited eyes while I'm here in order to find out everything. So, well, let's crack on. Room 17. People have been following everything that's going on here for a while, but let's go back in time. Where were we 12 months ago? What was happening 12 months ago?
What happened 12 months ago? We were designing, believe it or not, Maya Marsh. Oh my gosh. We were campaigning Maya Marsh. I think we were receiving the earnings of a good year and a half of operating with Museum Rush, with Flicky Spaceships, a couple of good titles that gave us a bit of a space in the especially about Kickstarter community and direct link to customers and to board gamers.
Yeah. So 12 months ago, My Marsh had just finished its Kickstarter, roughly this time.
Yes, more or less, yeah.
And that was off the back of the successful one for Museum Rush.
It was. Nowadays, successful is anything that actually makes it.
Yeah.
We were a very, very tiny little company, first project ever. We weren't set for Kickstarter. We weren't intended to kickstart our products because we were going to publishers. Yeah. And we were making commission work for other companies that wanted to make their own games. Mm-hmm. And when we finished Museum Rush, Anders and I looked at each other in the eye and said, well, unless there is reason for not kickstarting this product, why don't we do it and see how it goes?
Okay, so that's good.
And we did 50 grand, so it wasn't crazy, but for us it was an incredible run. Yeah. Because we connected with the community, we learned a huge load. Yeah. And we had loads of fun. I think Anders and I thought that Kickstarter was painful. Yeah. For experiences that people that apparently didn't sleep at night, and we actually found it very, very interesting and fun.
Yeah. Well, I guess the community is really supportive. I've been mixing with the community for the current Kickstarter quite a bit, and they're very supportive. I think now Kickstarter's been around for long enough so that people know what to expect. Mm-hmm. They know it's not a shop. Yes. And that's pretty important. So the backers, if you give them what they want, what they're interested in, you keep them informed, which is what you guys have done, then they're very supportive, they're very great, and they will drive a lot of what you decide to do, which I think is a really interesting part of it. Don't want to jump too far forward, but like with Mighty Lords, there's been plans in the head, but the community have interacted in a certain way, which has kind of steered the way the project has gone. Yeah. So,
in Kickstarter, you must have a plan. You have a plan. You don't know exactly what are the stretch goals for that plan. Yeah. But you have to be absolutely ready to change the plan. Yeah. In every single step. So every couple of days we have a good Kickstarter meeting. We look at everything that has been said, and we redo. And we're not afraid of redoing. We're not afraid of pulling out and pulling in. Yeah. Because we communicate everything. Yeah. I think what we learned on Kickstarter is that Kickstarter is not about a product. Mm-hmm. It's about the experience of becoming part of the generation of a product. And that only happens if, I mean, you have a good experience as a backer if you are involved.
Yeah.
Well, we like to get these people involved, and we like the backers to tell us whatever they think they want to tell us and act upon. Sometimes we can, sometimes, they're only dreams. But it's about telling the story and communicate and being completely open. Yeah. And I think that is, as simple as it is the key to at least have people following you and being happy with the campaigns.
With everything, you're happy if you're informed, and you're happy if you feel like you have some degree of say over what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's a win-win.
Yeah, we've learned a huge load. You know, we sometimes we try to be too complacent, and backers have come and say, "Hey, you don't have to," you know, because that doesn't actually give us much confidence. I mean, if you have a line, yes, have our say, have our opinions, but sometimes you don't have to say yes to everything, and that is a learning point, which is a very good learning point. I compare Kickstarter with having a Starbucks or a Costa coffee.
Yeah.
You know, you pay $7 for a coffee.
Yeah.
You don't pay $7 for a coffee. You pay $7 because of how the coffee is made, the space that you are having your coffee on, the fact that you're rising that mug or that paper cup with the Costa or the Starbucks, it's the whole thing.
That's a really good point. I think I mentioned earlier off camera the one way of looking at Kickstarter, but that's a very different way. It's an experience, and
it's a show, isn't it?
Yeah, you need to be selling not just a product at the end of it, but an experience along the way. If you just turn up and go, "Here's an amazing product, give us all your cash, and we'll get back to you in 12 months," you're not going to have happy backers. Involve them, show them what's going on. So, like with Mighty Lords, we've been sharing lots of concept art and chats with the designing team. You're giving them that journey, that experience that they are part of, and nobody else will be part of. And I think I learned that quickly interacting with the backers when I myself did a social media post, didn't post it onto the backers page for whatever reason, just and the backers were like, "Hey, why didn't we get this update?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, you're the backers. You should have got this first." And obviously, all I could do was hold my hands up and just say, my bad. I'm sorry."
But you know what? It's fine. It's okay to commit mistakes. We are going to make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
What we have to do is to make sure that it's not the same mistake again.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and that goes along the entire process of the creation of a product. You know,
but we're responsive to it. Like within 30 minutes, it was me saying, "Yeah, guys, that was my fault. Sorry about that." And if you go, "Oh, you make an excuse," like a lot of Kickstarters I've backed, just there's nothing or there's an excuse. It's like you don't want that.
No.
You just want someone to go.
You know what? The best experience I had was with Maya March.
Yeah.
And was with a little stupid thing like the boot. You know, and followers of Room 17 and people that had backed and followed the comment on Maya March know these. We managed to get a social stretch goal on Maya March, which was a boot, a marker basically, a plastic marker, which at the time seemed like an incredible good idea because we were play testing the game and what about using something to mark where your goblin is in each challenge, etc. etc. Yeah, we do that as a stretch goal because the boot is great and look how the design looks like. So months pass, you go into production, and the boot is, believe it or not, a little stupid thing like this is the most complex and most expensive compared to what it is element. Well, we don't want to break our back. We want to be here forever. We want to stay. We want to produce something that is useful and good and pretty, but it doesn't break us. You know, that boot could have cost, I don't know, a third of the box. not as much, but basically the point is that we said, no, we can't do this. We can't. You know, yes, we unlock this stretch goal through a social, but the A is not an important element, absolutely not an important element, and nobody wants us to be broken. Me first, and then everybody else, if they love our product. So we went to the community and said, "Look, guys, we can't do the boot. You must understand that we can't do this boot. However, we have artists, we have game designers. What about these as a compensation? We are going to give you something else that is, as always, in the spirit of Room 17, is related to the boot. So I would kind of make it. We're gonna make a joke out of it and compensate you for that.
Yeah.
Well, the community was incredibly grateful. Applaud the decision. There was a zero negative comments, and that is the way to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. At the end of the day, people have to understand that the Kickstarters don't always become successful, and there's loads which they wouldn't do that, and they break themselves and deliver nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the backers are always going to be appreciative of you going, you know what, hands up again. This was a mistake.
Yeah.
You're involved in part of the design process. Parts of the design change. There's no way that 12 months ago you can say this will definitely happen.
Yes.
There's no way that
absolutely. And you can't control everything.
Yeah.
No way.
That's cool. So the backers are very important. They drive a lot of the decisions. They push you to future projects.
They do.
Definitely. So MyMarsh is ticked off. That's now looking at fulfillment companies. You're looking at taking that to actually... So a lot of companies, again, or a lot of projects never leave Kickstarter. MyMarsh is leaving Kickstarter. It's coming into the fulfillment side of things. So tell us about that.
Well, we received a couple of days ago. I received an email from the manufacturer with which we have an incredible relationship. Another key point, vital key point to run a campaign or to produce anything. Have a good relationship with manufacturer, and the good relationship is not I pay on time, I submit on time. A good relationship is a correlation of communication, making sure that everybody speaks the same language.
Yeah.
You know, we use loads of codes, we use loads of specifications and technical words, so there's no mistake.
Yeah.
But also, is the personal relationship. Is to make sure that the spirit of the product you want to produce is understood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have a great communication with our manufacturers. We just had the news that MyMarsh is finished, is in production, and if they will finish the complete lot on the 10th of July.
Yeah.
Then from there is about 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then he lands on our fulfiller company. Now that is the other good relationship you want to have.
Yes. Yeah.
We've been working with Games Quest ever since we started.
Yeah.
We will continue doing it for many reasons. The first one is loyalty. Yes, everybody, every company in the world has hiccups.
Yeah.
And it's when you stick to those companies that you generate the relationship. They've never failed us. They had pros and cons like everybody else, but the response was always good, was always sincere, was always honest and upfront, and we're going to stick to them because they are great.
It's that same thing again, isn't it? The accountability, the transparency, you can make a mistake, just don't do it again and again and again.
I learned from a good friend from Ulysses, Spiel. I learned a very valid business point. In business, there is no such a thing as bad news. There's no bad news in business. There's only news.
Yes. Yeah.
Now you have to have the news.
Yeah.
Because the bad news is not knowing.
Yeah. Yeah. Being
so,
informed.
if that's it. If there is a delay, just tell me.
Yeah.
Then I will communicate. Because again, for my customers, there is no bad news. There is only lack of news, and then it's when you start getting anxious and when you don't understand. So any news is good. Yeah. Because you keep up, and Games Quest in this case works the same way with us. The manufacturers work the same way with us. They tell us where the problems are. We solve them, and then we communicate if there is any delays, this and the other. So basically, Games Quest has always worked that way with us. We have communicated delays. They had their problems. We had our problems. Everybody has problems, and as a result of a long-term relationship, we can count on them. And we know that we are first in line, so they are already expecting MyMarsh. Going back to the point, we know they're expecting MyMarsh. Everything is encoded, everything is ready. We're going to have first priority to be shipped. Yeah. So even with the little delays that we have experienced, like in any campaign, we'll do it in a good time. So MyMarsh is done. Cool. It's on its way, or it will be on its way in the next days, fulfilled. And then the inevitable customer service, and hopefully more happy backers and another another great project on our belt, and now one that would also make it to retail.
Yeah, which is the ultimate goal for me of a Kickstarter, and I've said this many times, too many Kickstarters are Kickstarters and they never go anywhere else. The fact that it's going to retail, for me, is massive. That's the full completion of the product. It's not a one-off, it's not Kickstarter and never again, it's you'll be able to get this game. So many games are amazing games that you hear about and you can't get them anywhere because they were done on Kickstarter and then they never went anywhere else. And it's a real shame because no one gets to enjoy them. No one gets to.
Well, the world of retail is very, very extremely complicated.
Yeah.
You know, I've been in the industry for 25 years or something.
Yeah.
And now is the most difficult time for an independent company to make it to retail. Very, very extremely difficult. So I absolutely understand why the sort of Monolith decides to not plan for retail, and many other companies do not plan for retail because it's so difficult. That it's almost a work of with no reward.
I suppose one of the things with Room 17 is independent company, but everyone is very experienced at what they've done in the industry, which gives you that. I mean, like, people don't know, we're based where all the other companies are, right? It's a really strong point of the experience of each individual team member in those areas massively adds to the outcome of the success or the chance of success.
It limits the liabilities. It limits the risks.
There's no shooting in the dark. You're aware of
sometimes there is. But then there's the experience again in which side of the dark you're shooting. You know. So there is risks. There's nothing is 100% sure. But I think even without knowing it, experience takes you to shoot in the air in the right way or in the right angle. So minimizing risks.
So you're getting it right. So, all right. So that's boxed off. The community is driving well. There's vanity projects you've got in your mixing pot, which we'll come on to in a minute. But what has the community sort of encouraged you to do now? Where are we looking now?
Well, after Maya Marsh was an incredible trip. It was so good that encouraged us to stay. Encouraged us to stay in Kickstarter, to basically move all our efforts to that community. It was just incredible, and it's a joy, and I cannot stress enough what a great and pleasure trip we had. Kickstarter is great. Kickstarter is not a pain in the neck. Kickstarter doesn't prevent you from sleeping at night. Kickstarter is a joy when you are doing the things in the easy way, which is upfront, and you start engaging with people in the community because backers take care of backers. Backers bring backers. So the only thing you need to do is to do the same. Take care of backers and their interests.
Look after them.
That's it. Look after them. So after Maya Marsh, we continue talking to the community of Maya Marsh, of all those bog goblins, and they ask us for more Maya Marsh stuff. Now that is a complicated thing for a company, because you don't want to be stuck in one IP. Now we are developing that IP, if we can call it IP. There is a world beyond Maya Marsh where Maya Marsh lives.
Outside of the swamp.
Outside of the swamp. And outside of the swamp there is a town called Templetide. And Templetide is a product of, we want to do something else with Maya Marsh. We want to bring Maya Marsh outside the marsh and bring the goblins outside the marsh. What do the goblins do with other people that live there? Other
than desecrating halflings.
Exactly, well, they basically raid cities and things. So Templetide is a project that we are working with Gapthorpe, the good one. And well, it's maturing the rules. We want to make sure that there is a good. I mean, it's Gapthorpe. There's nothing bad coming from him. We want to make sure that that with the name comes a great game, comes a great product. So that's down the line. We haven't slotted when, because we want to make sure that the game is absolutely perfect. And it's a game for the community
already.
It's a game for the community.
That's really nice. They've responded really well to Maya Marsh is fantastic. It's 8+ at the moment on its ratings on Board Game Geek last time I checked, which is a pretty harsh critic. That's fantastic. If you're going to build a world where that has slotted into, then that's really interesting. I can kind of see, pan out from the swamp, and you've got Templetide.
Yeah.
And I mean, these goblins, you say they raid towns, but they're not very ambitious, really.
No. They're cheeky, really.
Yeah, their victory condition was desecrating the halflings' lawns, stealing something from an orc. So yeah, they do their best.
Yeah. They're happy stealing an apple from the mayor's tree.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Okay.
That's enough to be their king. So
yeah.
they're going to have a shock when they get into the big wide world.
Totally.
And the backers will be able to go with them and enjoy it, which is actually a really nice idea.
It is. We hope it's going to end up being a fun continuation of the Miramars universe. Yeah. That hopefully would take us somewhere else.
Yeah, so that's I'm looking forward to that, because I don't know much about that other than who's involved with it and possibly what direction that's going in. Okay, so other projects in the mixing pot. A lot of people will be aware from watching other interviews that you guys have done of stuff like Conan, which is being worked on. Actually, it's cheekily hidden off shot there. But there are. What else is in the mixing pot? What are we looking at seeing next? What's the next big thing that we're going to be working on?
All right. Well, after Mighty Law, we are almost finishing the campaign. Mm-hmm. We have Conan coming in September.
Yep.
Conan is the fruit of Frederick Marber looking into Temple Dungeon and saying, yeah, I want that.
Okay.
I want to make a game.
Yeah.
As you probably know, Cabinet Entertainment is the owner and custodian of all the properties of Howard. Mm-hmm. And among them is Conan. So Fred and Jai and Michael came one day and said, let's do a game on on Tenfold.
Yeah.
About Conan. So we decided to go Tower of the Elephant. Why not?
Yeah, it's the starting point.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are gonna love that game.
Yeah. So backpedal slightly. Tenfold, the dungeon system. Yeah. It's not a game. It's not scenery. Yeah. It's a gaming aid. It's a system.
Yeah.
And they've seen the system and they've gone, that could be used really well in a game that we would like you to create.
Yes.
And that's where you've gone, right, okay, what works? And I think a few people have seen the system as being used to make a tower.
Yeah.
Which I think is fantastic, because like one of the first times you can get a game box and go, there's everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, continue on. I wanted to kind of make that clear, that they've gone, wow, Tenfold is awesome. How can we use this now purposefully for a game system?
Yeah. Well, Tenfold always been a. We'll talk about this in later on. It started as the part of a game.
Yeah.
As the space where a game would occur.
Yeah.
We haven't reached that point yet. We are reaching that point. But as a principle is a space. Tenfold is a space contained in a box.
Yeah.
Where you can play your games. So in a way, we put a game in the Tenfold Dungeon system.
Yeah.
It's a solo play game or a PvP, so you can do a player versus player or a solo.
Yeah.
It's adventure driven.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a choose your own adventure type.
Yes.
You can. It's like a book in a way.
Yeah, it really appealed to me actually, because he starts off in the tavern. Mm-hmm. Like the Conan adventure, he's in the tavern and he overhears about the Tower of the Elephant, and that's the first Conan adventure, and that's where you can step in and you take control, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we're actually going to be looking at that as of when we're recording this today. Tomorrow, we're going to be looking at that with Anders and Anka, who are kind of chief developers on this.
Yeah, well, Anders is the master of the rules.
Yeah, he
had this system in his head, and he wanted to do it. Yeah, and we say, well, then do it. Produce the rules. He produced the rules. He's been playtesting. I mean, he's absolutely obsessed with it. So the game works very well. It's not a simple or simplistic game.
Yeah,
it's a dungeon crawler, but it's actually very, very strategic. You will see, and I'd encourage you and Anders tomorrow to go through the tricks of the game.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to rush this game, you don't want to rush those adventures, or you won't make it. It's a complex game.
Right.
It's a game for gamers.
Yeah.
Very easy to understand. but really difficult to master. Conan will have trouble.
Right.
Which is great.
Okay, that's cool.
It's full of secrets and mysteries. It's full of spins and twists.
Yeah.
You'll see that. So the game itself is really good. I think people will like it. You guys must follow this campaign, because I think you're gonna love the game.
Yeah.
But also the art. Again, Anka and Andres leading the design of this game. Andres, our lead illustrator. Anka, our lead graphic designer. Mm-hmm. They've done a beautiful work.
Yeah.
So games can be fun, interesting, but they also are beautiful pieces of design, beautiful pieces of art. You know, they are illustrations in boxes, illustrations in cards.
You just have to look at the tenfold stuff, and what could be a throwaway room to people is illustrated inside and out.
Yeah.
Floor, walls, intricate details. There are little things that if you look around all the boxes, you'll spot little things every time you look at them. Well,
the basics of one of the things I talk, and this is something I was very, very stubborn about when within Measure, is that all this comes from the games I used to play in late 80s, early 90s. Space Crusade, Wellington Games, Dark World, Village of Fear, Hero Quest, Advanced Hero Quest. But there was no digital there.
Yeah.
The boards, the illustrations you see there are all in pencil and aquarelle, and so each tile is different. Each crack is different. It's a piece of art of an artist that back in the 80s was drawing in a canvas. Yeah. Yeah. Now, with the digital era, is simple, and we do these too. Don't take me wrong. We do this. That's it. Copy paste, make a texture, copy paste, etc. And we do these. Yeah. Because you cannot not do it. It would be stupidly long time. Yeah. However, I did, and I insisted on make sure that you cannot notice that the player cannot notice a pattern in the tiles, a pattern in the walls. Yeah. So cracks are different. We put attention in to make sure that it's not everybody should be able to do that.
Finishing touches.
That's it. Is the word of an artist. Yeah. Dai is our environmentalist. I call him. He's the hand behind the tenfold. Yeah. Okay. The tenfold environment, and on top of all other things that he does, obviously. Yeah. But he's specialised in creating the art of the boxes, and as a specialist, he's getting better and better on making sure that there's no pattern perception. Yeah. Because that wouldn't be fair on him. If we work on patterns, then I could do a tenfold. I just make a pattern and copy paste it 35 times, and that's it. Well, no, that is an artist. Yeah. He only him and other artists can do that.
He is good. Anyone who's following the Kickstarter at the moment will see that we've put a video up today with Dai. As much as he hates being on camera. Talking about some of the work he's done, not on an environment, on concept art, on some of the characters, which, touch wood, in the next probably hour will be unlocked. We're like one pledge off. Hopefully. At the time of recording this, which is cool. So I can't get across as well how insanely talented the art team here are. Like, insanely talented when you look at the stuff they produce. You just have to look at the box arts and the sleeves and the concept art to see that it's something else.
Well, we started the company with them. When we finished the last project with Warlord Games, Anka, myself, and Andres thought, but let's do these for ourselves. Without Anka and Andres, we would not have Room 17. Yeah, they are the lead and the eyes and the the art behind everything, and the art is as important as the game. Okay, so that's
it's pen and paper. If you even have the art, you have pen and paper. You have theatre of the mind, and you're building on that. Basically, which is grand. So I'm checking my notes now because I scribbled so many things down that I wanted to dig into about what we're doing and what's coming up. So I've. So the next thing I want to talk about, after talking about the art team and sort of just showing off some of their art and how insanely talented they are, is in Myanmar you were working with the studio in Spain, yeah?
Yeah.
Prior to Myanmar.
We were working on the only thing that we didn't have during Myanmar and previous to that is in-house sculpting.
Yeah. Okay.
So the key to produce or to create Room 17 was to house the hands, the minds, and the spirits of those involved in the product.
Okay.
So from production, not manufacturing, from production to design to illustration, to game design, editing, everything, we wanted to host it under the same roof. So it would be a creation, a constant flow.
And that was actually during Tenfold, was it? That you started to incorporate.
Yes. During Tenfold, I mean, at the end of Myanmar's, we were absolutely chuffed with the scopes that we received. Yeah. And we started conversations with the studio in Spain. Yeah. Which was participant on the Myanmar scope among other people.
This is Carlos and Elias.
This is Carlos, Elias, Alfonso, Ilya, Ruben. Yeah. So those guys are part of Beholder Studio in Spain.
And responsible for the pictures you have seen of insanely well painted miniatures from the Mighty Lords.
That particularly will be Elias. Yeah. So they were sculpting for us. We were generating characters with them. They were working already by then, and months earlier. Yeah. They were working on Dungeoneers already as a commission then. Mm-hmm. So during at the end of Myanmar's, and while preparing Tenfold, we said, let's incorporate the last bits of art that we need in the company. So we offer them to become part of us. Yeah. And we started working on the principle of incorporating that talented team onto the Room 17 team. While we were doing Tenfold. Yeah. Because Tenfold obviously didn't have any minis, so that would give them a break that we used to test them for Mighty Lords.
Right, and that's what we're seeing coming out now.
Exactly. So we had a very, very interesting window opportunity with Tenfold. Not having a system, not a game, not having minis, not having a lot of hard components. Yeah. Free them to focus on Mighty Lords and start working on Mighty Lords.
And that's been really important in how everything has kind of smoothly chugged along, is having that schedule throughout the year of the different parts of the company doing different things, no clashing. I know you've mentioned that in the past. It takes a lot of planning, probably a lot of stressful planning, to make sure everyone is doing something rather than scrabbling over certain jobs.
Well, it also takes a lot of stress. Yeah. Another reason why we incorporated Elias is because he's very good at planning and organizing work effort. Yeah. So we are 12 people now. Yeah. Doing many things. The next strand we would love to incorporate is a game development team that comes with a bit more effort, because obviously having writers full time is complicated. Yeah. But it's a must. So far we're working with Matt and Sam and many other authors, like I said, Gav Thor, fantastically well, and they're responding great, and they are getting more and more inside the net of Room 17 for games to come. The games designer is something that we would love to have in-house too, so the whole thing would be under the same roof. Yeah. So it takes a lot of organization to make sure that we can, especially and most importantly, communicate and deliver. Yeah. So while the design teams are working in making the pretty thing, and that is in a way the easiest part of schedule. Yeah. Well, you also have to schedule communication, constant contact, and deliver. Yeah. We have delivered. We haven't failed any Kickstarter deadlines. If we say that a Kickstarter deadline goes between that month or 2 months, we're very chuffed that we are doing that, and we are capable of doing it. So we are incorporating more Kickstarters in our portfolio. Mm-hmm. We're going to do more Kickstarters a year. Yeah. Smaller, bigger, minis, tenfolds. So that they require different sides of the business, all well coordinated by the 4 people that are in charge of communication and coordination, which is Anders, Elias, myself, and obviously you.
Yeah.
So having 4 people in charge of production.
Yeah.
We are trying to recruit now a good production manager, so he can communicate with the factory.
Yeah.
And in this case, lucky us, is a Chinese guy with a lot of experience that he worked for manufacturers in China for board games before.
Oh wow!
So it's a very good opportunity that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So that is at the end of a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
That's the team that works on it.
Yeah.
You know, the Kickstarter is done, bits and bobs to finish by the design team. The design team moves on to the next project and a half.
Yeah.
And the rest is down to us.
Yeah.
To make sure that everything is lined up, proofs are approved, and timings are
so timings don't get hit, wrong information goes out, stuff goes wrong. That's us. That's our fault.
Yeah.
Fair enough. So all right, then on to so less the technical stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people will be very interested to know what happens with a Kickstarter, because I don't think a lot of people get that behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go back to Room 17. Something that's inspiring the future work you're doing because of your history with gaming, board gaming, and upcoming projects. I want to talk about is obviously the next Kickstarter that they're going to look forward to seeing is going to be related to Conan.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other things that are close to completion, and we all know that there is a project that you started a very long time ago, which you've never got to do anything with or get too far with. So you know what I'm talking about. Tell me about your history with tabletop gaming, board gaming, and how it led you to basically Room 17, which was Dungeoneers, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I'm a dad.
Yep.
You know, and when you're a dad, you don't find a lot of time to play.
Yeah.
And actually, your family tends to be the your best playing buddies. You know, from convincing the wife to obviously attracting your kids. If you want to have a table full of people playing, your best chance is your family.
Yeah, because they're always there.
They're absolutely willing to do that and mess about with your games and your minis. So, and I love that.
Yeah.
And the first game I started playing with my kids were obviously Hero Quest, Space Crusade.
Yeah.
And my collection of Waddington games, as I said, Village of Fear and Dark World.
And we have one on the table, which we were talking about earlier, and I can totally understand why Ricard wants to do this game, because I have memories of laying Dark World, and I didn't realise it was Dark World until it was sitting on the shelf behind us here, out on the coffee table in our lounge. I can only imagine how upset my dad must have been at the painting that I did on those miniatures. Because now, so we've got a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and an 11-year-old. If I gave them a miniature, I would micromanage their paint. Well, I have done. I've painted some Imperial Fists from another game system with the little girl because she likes the yellow. And I micromanage their painting. But my memories of having Dark World were slopping paint on these things to what I thought looked good, and playing with this 3D tabletop, which also played into why you did Tenfold. And the memories I have there were amazing. And just looking at the back of the box again and seeing what's in it and how it was laid out, that's amazing. So I can see why you've pulled that with you through your adolescence into adulthood, and now want to just push that on the kids as well.
Well, they in a way they demand it, especially if they are surrounded by games like my kids are, like most board game geeks that our parents are. I mean, their kids are ready to jump onto their games as soon as they can.
And it can be very difficult to find one suitable.
It is, even I tell you what, even playing Hero Quest, because they evolve with the age.
Yeah,
it is complicated. So you have to tailor everything.
Now is more than ever, because we had no problem with loads of pen and paper back when we had these games.
Yeah.
Now it's not the same. You know, I don't want to say they have less of an attention than we did, but there are a lot more distractions. There's a lot more instant gratification to compete with now.
Yeah.
If they want fun right away, they can get it. So we had no problem back then working that bit harder for it, right? So that's a hurdle.
Well, it's easier to show them a room that has walls, and say, that's a room. That's where you are with walls, you know. So but aside from that, what I realized after many years of working in the industry, the latest years, is that we are in the best moment of incredible minis, incredible systems, incredible tools to play your games, dice, gizmos, dials, and God knows. And yet, the 3D aspect of the environment was lost for some reason.
Yes.
For some reason, I can't, and I might be wrong, but the latest game is Monster something. Monster Apocalypse, I think. Is it Monster Apocalypse? Which one is that? Because I'm interested to see.
Into the shelves.
Monster Slaughter.
Yeah.
Is the latest game that incorporated some sort of 3D element. That cabin where you play inside. But other than that, it's lost. You carry on playing with tiles. Yeah. Dungeon crawlers are tiles after tiles.
Yeah.
Sometimes fixed boards. Not very often.
Yeah. So some of my favourite games are tile laying. Yeah. Partly because of I like the random element. But you're right. There's no 3D. It's top-down view of a room. So
that's what inspired. So when we started Room 17, I was like, eventually, I want to make a full-on immersive, 3D-ish dungeon crawler to play with my kids.
Yeah, makes sense. Because you've got all those elements. You've got the elements of like Dark World and Hero Quest, which gave you the 3D elements, even if they were just cardboard slots that popped in. You've got the miniatures as well, which obviously really help immerse. You've got tiles because the rooms have bases to them, so they are your tiles. The tenfold system all fits into one box anyway,
which is important.
Which is really important, because box.
And I've got the kids.
Important. And you've already got the kids,
so I can play with them too.
So anyone who hasn't got kids is thinking about it now. There is time to make kids to be ready for when the Kickstarter.
Well, that's one of the things I wanted to. I'll tell you what. I think we all love a complex. This is about dungeon crawling. Yeah, the Dungeoneers is a dungeon crawler. Yeah, we all love a complex dungeon crawler. Yeah. We all love advancing characters and all that kind of stuff. However, and we'll see some of that in Dungeoneers. I wanted to make a game that is realistic. Yeah. How many times are we going to play a game so often that you're going to reach level 10 and play 95 days of a year, or any of those things? It's very inspirational. It's something that you might dream one day to do, and you might have one or two games that you can do that with.
Yeah, with character progression.
That's it. All that. Yeah. We're going to see some of that in Dungeoneers. Yeah. But what I wanted is to play. We all love still playing a Hero Quest game. Yeah. Roll dice, kill things, move there, get the treasure, go through the treasure deck, because that's what you want to see, the pretty pictures and what else is in there. Yeah. A trap, and move on. Yeah. And in this case, and very deliberately, Daddy being the baddie, or Mum.
So you're going to have the DM side of things.
Yes. It's more it's a Hero Quest experience. It's the Waddington Games experience. Yeah. Is the Warhammer Quest experience. Yeah. And because it's not going to be a family game. It's going to be a dungeon crawler accessible for 10 up. Right. The minute a kid can't read properly, would be able to play it. Okay. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be simplistic.
There's always light versions of things. Yeah.
Well, it is. It's going to be simple. Yeah. So you don't have to bring it down to the level of your audience. Yeah. But there's going to be the exploration. There's going to be the adventure. There's going to be the continuity. There's going to be the progression. Now, I'm not going to make we're not making a game where you're going to be reaching level 10. Yeah. So I'm not going to put any efforts on designing an adventure book that takes you to level 10
with a massive skill tree and
no,
that's not accessible for that audience.
No, and it's not realistic.
No.
For as much as I'm just want to put my money on that. It's going to keep me playing for the rest of my life. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to play that game for the rest of my life.
This is like a gateway game.
It is, but is Hero Quest a gateway game? I mean,
probably was.
it might be.
Our first experience.
People still playing it.
Yeah.
You know, board gamers still playing that game because it's just a nostalgia fun.
Yes, yeah.
Is King of Tokyo a gateway game? I play King of Tokyo.
I still play that. Yeah.
You know, when you don't have other things to do, or when it's you're looking for a casual game.
I think what appeals to me with Dungeoneers, other than the system itself and it being a very modern version of what we used to enjoy, which is very easy for I've shown, I got Tenfold out in front of Alexa and Elijah, so 4 and 6 years old, and they had so much fun building rooms, building a castle floor. This is where the bedrooms are, this is where this is where this is. Giving them that chance now to go, this is where you start, like this is the castle you've come into, where are you going, that sort of thing. And I can see, as long as you've got a coffee table which you can leave it on overnight, a couple of evenings in a row, do all your chores, if you're good, we're going to play for half hour. Or play for 45 minutes before bed, and then tomorrow when you come back, your character might have, she can move one step further, or she can shoot one more fireball. Yeah. Because that's simple progression, right? I don't know, I have no idea what you've got planned. But the excitement for them to come back and see if they can get to that last room in 1 or 2 play sessions is a way to really bring them into what we love doing. Yeah. And have the story element of things and get their imagination going, and let you still have your gaming too. And
we're going to have characters and baddies that I love the design for.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
You probably pinch some images and put them in this video. Yeah. You'll see that. We know how to make minis. Yeah. Right. So we can we make minis with intricate detail and wow. Yes, absolutely. You've seen that on Mighty Lords. You've seen that on My Amash. You will see it for the rest of the life of Room 17. This is the Infinity design. This is a Disney Infinity design. Yeah. This is which I think is genius. Yes. Yeah. I don't think any adult would not like the Infinity design. No. Because it's pure design. Yeah. And design is enticing for anybody. Yeah. So this is a chunky, lovely detail mini. Easy to use if they want to paint. Easy to paint, absolutely. Surfaces. Very simple, bold colours. Stands out very well. Yeah. Bold colours, as you said. Yeah. Can take a beating because the first thing the kids like to do is smash them. Absolutely, and very appealing to, I would say, modern kids kind of thing. Yeah. We've got. I'm gonna allow myself to say we got warrior nice Disney princesses. Yeah. But not like Cinderella. We have Moana kind of stuff. We have. This is what I like. Like we were saying before, you've got boys. I've got boy and girl. There's that appeal to both. For me, I want the princesses to be kick ass. And obviously, Moana is probably the coolest, along with Meredith Brave. Yeah, because they're not just prissy princesses. They would go into the dungeons. Yeah, and not being scared. Yeah, exactly. And that's what I want to see my little one doing is getting excited about who cares if there's a skeleton over there? I smash it up anyway. And it gives us the that Infinity style, that Disney Infinity style gives us the option to explore. Different creatures or creatures that take them to that style, to that design, but also generate new creatures because they can be distorted, they can be twisted in terms of body proportions, etc. Without doing any chivis or anything. So I think the Disney Infinity style is the point where you can understand where we're going with Dungeoneers. It's not too far on the whole the cultist revelers style of things, and it's not too hard on the other way of the massive jack dudes. When you what it makes me think of is the older like PlayStation games and stuff like Final Fantasy, where Cloud had big forearms but they were blocks. Yeah, it's that almost like exaggerated blocky look. Yes, yes. Which on the Popeye look things, it's. I think, and I hope I'm not wrong. Because I managed to bring with me the entire company to actually now understand and love the project. Yeah. I hope I wasn't being too cocky or imposing. I have the feeling that there is a market for these products. Definitely, I see it as like you said, it's the game for the parents and the kids. It's what I would term as
a daddy-daughter game or a dad and son game. There has to be a market for that.
And actually, what I'm planning to do in the campaign is that we're gonna for as much as much fun I am of Tenfold Dungeon, the 3D element. Obviously, that carries a cost.
Yes.
And having a box full of boxes is not cheap. To add minis to that and the rest of components, dice, etc. Well, it's going to be a pricey product.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to, but then at the same time, and I would buy that pricey product. I mean, today you pay 100 quid for a Hero Quest.
Yeah.
That's it. That's why you
pay £80 just for a box of miniatures.
That's it. Absolutely. Yeah. So it's not going to be a cheap price. It's not going to be a cheap family game because it's not going to be a family game. It's going to be a board game geek family game.
Yeah.
And but I do understand that as gamers, we might give us an opportunity to buy a family game to play with the kids, but our hobby is our games.
Yeah.
So I want to make a simplistic or a more cost-effective product with it.
Yeah.
So during the campaign, we are going to have a Tenfold Dungeon system Dungeoneers.
Yeah.
And a tile system Dungeoneers.
Okay, yeah.
So we reduce cost.
Yeah.
And we reduce the type of product that you buy.
And people will still be happy with the tile system.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, is to play with my kids.
Yeah.
Those flashy dice, lots of gorgeous illustrations and cards.
Yeah.
A good game.
Yeah.
That's gonna take me with my kids through loads of fun.
Yeah.
That's it. It doesn't need boxes.
Yeah.
However, I think.
Yeah.
That if I can afford it, I can play that game with boxes.
I see. I don't know what's going to be in mind completely, but I'm going to be massively bullying my way into seeing what's going on as this develops. But the amount of boxes you get in the current Tenfold, I can't see it needing that many, for the game.
Well, I'm not going to offer that. No. The Tenfold is going to is going to have 12 rooms for sure.
Yeah. So somewhere between full Tenfold and Tower of the Elephant is what you're looking at size for Dungeoneers. Somewhere between those two.
No, I'm gonna go full Tenfold.
Full Tenfold.
So my plan, and this is the plan of the campaign. So to be very clear, is that we're gonna have a game contained in a box, Dungeoneer.
Yeah.
With your minis, etc., at a normal price that you would find any other game, any other dungeon crawl.
Yeah. And then you're going premium.
And then you're gonna have the opportunity to buy or pledge or add on or whatever we find the best way of doing it.
Yeah.
To buy the boxes.
Yeah.
Where you again play that game. So if you have the cash, you can go and buy that. If you have the cash during the pledge manager, then you can buy that and incorporate it. If you have the cash or you are very, very focused on that product and you want to do it right now, when it's in campaign, you can buy the whole lot together.
And let's be realistic. I think that the Tenfold system style one will be the most popular. I would find the money to, because for me, part of playing with the kids is going to be. Now I'm just saying how I feel. It's going to be recreating the feeling that I got when I first played. I'm pointing at Dark World. It's on the desk in case anyone wonders what I'm pointing at. Was when I was playing Dark World, and part of that was building the walls up. Suddenly it was 3D. Now, yeah, exactly. Hard to find copies of that. Very hard. And that everything that I'd seen until that point had been flat. And just having the one wall with the spinning portrait, which is the example I always give, made it 100 times more enjoyable for me. And even if, the amount of pleasure they got from using their imaginations with the Tenfold, it kick-started that imagination process of what's this room for, what can we do with it. To me, that's a priceless element of, and part of the spirit of the gaming as well.
There's another great point, and it's something that I experienced with my kids. Is that you can leave them with that. So obviously we want our breaks. Sometimes they want to play with you. You don't have the time. And if they like something, especially my kids are 5, 7, 8, and 14. So they love to play with you. You love to play with them because you love them enormously, but you don't always have the time. Now, the great thing about Tenfold is the sturdiness.
Yes,
added to the minis that we're going to make. yeah, here's the game, you play it, and they just recreating stuff. Maybe how you play it and roll some dice. They might know how to do it. They might not know how to do it without you. But you can. It's a toy.
You're enabling that imagination process.
Exactly. You can allow them to role play with that toy.
Some of the most simple systems are like you can really break it down, and you can go, if you roll 6, you're good. If you roll 1, you're not.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And you give them
well,
four,
it's going to be an as I said, I'm not making a simplistic game.
Yeah. That's for them to do.
That's it. It's a simple mechanic game. It's a very visual. It uses shapes and colors, and it's very visual, very understandable for, as I said, for 4, 5 to whatever.
Yeah.
But it's a game I want to play, because that's the other thing. I don't want to entertain my kids. I want to have fun with my kids.
Yeah, I think that's really important. It's I don't want to say it's a chore, but anyone who's a parent will know.
Yeah.
If you have an activity you're enjoying, it's great. If you are hosting an activity, it's not the same.
It's not so great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the challenge, is getting that midpoint just right. So you are going to have fun, and it's going to be probably just at the fingertips of the kids, so they're aspiring to play through it.
Exactly. I don't know. Maybe, and hopefully.
Playtesting.
It would be a game that without the kids you would also choose to play.
Yeah.
And I'm aiming at that too. The same way as I still play Hero Quest, I still play Space Crusade, especially now with the facility, which I'm already playing with it. I still play those games. Yeah. Are they simplistic? I don't really know, but sometimes I want to play those games. Yeah. So I hope we can target that audience too.
Yeah. Well, we will know very, very soon.
We will.
But I can't see it having an issue. So I mean that I'm excited about that for so many reasons, and I cannot be alone in.
I think that's my feeling, and I hope I'm not bringing the company to a place where there's nobody wanting that type of game. I think there is more and more families that are more and more prepared to play more and more complex games.
The Hero Quest generation and like the Dark World generation are somewhere between my age, your age, sort of our ages. We now have families.
Yeah.
That's kind of all there is to say about that, isn't it?
That's it.
And we want to keep playing.
Absolutely.
So there's that. That's amazing. Okay, so I'm going to box that off because we have covered what is coming up for the last 12 years. Now, there is one more thing that, through me skulking around the office, I have heard whispers of and talk about, and that is you worked on Project Z, right? And what's happening with that?
Well, the reality is that nothing happens with it.
Right.
Project Z is the first product that I created for Warlord Games when I was working with them, and it was really interesting. It was a joy to do, and I think we found lovely mechanics there that I want to revisit at some point. I really want to look at those mechanics that I created and work with them. Let's say that. Yeah. So I know there are very, very few. Some people are interested in Project Z still. It's impossible to find. It's very difficult to get a copy nowadays because it's no longer in production. I don't know. I want to do something with it. Yeah. But the mechanics is what's important and interesting to me. Things, little details on that game that I like as a game designer. Yeah. So yeah, no news, but it's in my head. I just wanted to.
So there are whispers.
Yes, and there's a long way. I think there's many projects coming after Dungeoneers. We have Guardians of Fire, which is something that I want to talk about related to the Mighty Lords campaign. Yeah. There is, as I said, Temple Tide, which is also related with the Mighty Lords campaign. We have many projects coming for Cabinet, a second Conan game, provided the first one works. Yeah. Mutant Year Zero project. Yeah, which looks great. That we presented in UK Games Expo this year. So we have projects slotted along the next months. All of them coming from through Kickstarter. Yeah. That's why we're reinforcing our ranks. Yeah. Make sure that we are ready to run a Kickstarter every 3 months approximately. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've already started preparation for Conan now, the kickstarting.
Yeah. Kickstarter. Conan is ready for for the audience is ready to go.
Yeah.
So when we finish Mighty Lord, Conan is ready for campaign. Conan is coming on Kickstarter September.
It is designed, it is prototyped, it is artworked. We're going to start doing some actual on-screen test plays in order to get momentum for this pre-campaign and Kickstarter campaign going, so everyone knows exactly what they're buying into.
Yes.
Really
and we might plan for an early fulfillment.
Yeah.
I'm not going to promise anything, but I'm aiming at really fulfill it quickly.
So a good turnaround on backing completion.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, we have molded more than enough minis already, so the minis are engineered.
Yeah.
The game is finished.
Yeah.
It will be in the open soon, so people can play test, especially backers, give us the feedback. It's been in 5 different playtesting groups now, in America, Germany, here in the UK. So it's solid, it's done, the design is done.
Yeah.
We are working on more illustrations to support the campaign, to bring in more stuff. But we are aiming at a very simple campaign.
Yeah.
Game minis, and a couple of goodies, some stretch goals, done.
Yeah.
We're aiming at bringing a lot of people to Room 17 through the ranks of all the Conan followers, etc., and hopefully spin us a bit in terms of audience.
Conan is already a huge IP. It's a huge, rich universe. So the characters exist. People are familiar with them. All it needs, as a first step introduction, is good quality, easy to play, or good, enjoyable to play game. If we can go, here you are, this is what we've done, and people love it, which they will. Then that's a launch pad for everything. You go.
Well, the other thing is that the first. This is not a game on the Conan universe.
Yeah.
This is a game where you play Conan.
Yes, you're taking control.
So you're not playing a guy that might find Conan in a corner.
Yeah.
This is you being Conan and behaving like Conan.
Yeah, you're not an exile waking up in the desert. You're not.
No, none of that.
You are Conan.
Absolutely. This is a game that, because of the nature of and the type of the game it is, you are Conan. You're smashing skulls with Conan and kicking ass with Conan, and that is something I think is quite refreshing.
Yeah.
Plus, we're recreating the Tower of the Elephant adventure, which is very interesting. So basically, it's like you being Indiana Jones and trying to find the Lost Ark.
Which is another IP I'd be interested in.
We'll see.
But Conan, I'm looking forward to Conan as well, because I mean, visually it's great. And it seems to be that this tenfold system is going to be very much a trademark of Room 17, and it's going to be used to some very interesting effect.
And it's going to be 30 quid.
Which is insane.
Which is not bad.
Are we holding you to that?
Yeah. The pledge, the first
base
pledge level,
base
level is £30 for the game.
For the full game, with the box, with everything that comes with it. On top of that, there's going to be the minis and stuff.
Yeah, we're going to have a set of minis that you can replace with your attendees. As you can imagine, for 30 quid, you don't get 50 minis.
These are good. I mean, I know that these are still part of the prototype printing ones, but they are solid.
Yeah.
They do the job.
We had, one of the things that we realised in Myanmar's and in Museum Rush is that we are obsessed with minis, and I love it, and we're going to make minis because that's something we like. But now all board gamers want minis.
Minis don't make a game. Minis make a Kickstarter. Wow, I sound like I'm so pessimistic with Kickstarters, but some Kickstarter projects go, minis, millions of minis, and then everything else gets neglected. So the game system is there. The game is there, the rules are there, the story's there, the characters are there, the minis are the last part, really.
In certain games it is.
Yeah.
In certain games it is. And in this case, what we wanted is to reach as much audience as possible.
Yeah.
Therefore, the price tag needed to be correct,
Yeah.
while bringing an environment that is very, very appealing and immersive.
Yeah.
To board gamers and to Conan fans.
Yeah.
Now, board gamers aren't necessarily obsessed with minis.
Yeah.
And if we wanted to make a £30 product, then we could not add 25 minis to it.
No.
So especially when we're adding 9 boxes already.
Yeah.
So if you want minis, you can replace your standees for minis.
Yeah.
Conan will have a mini.
Yeah.
In the game, so you will have the Conan mini that you would be moving along. Thugs and minions won't have minis in this product for £30, but we have a sculpting team.
Yeah.
We love minis.
And
We know how to
it's
make
actually,
minis. We're gonna bring in minis too for an additional to your plate. So yeah.
And I think people can be pretty confident the minis will be good, on point.
Hopefully.
That's fantastic. So I now know what I have got myself into.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully everybody else does too. Is there anything else you want to add to that? Anything else we're looking forward to?
There's loads.
Yes.
There's loads. We have, as I said, at any given time, we're running 1.5 projects in terms of design, and we're running 2 projects in terms of production.
Yeah.
So Maya Marsh is on the way, as I said. It's coming in days, and then after is Tenfold Dungeon.
Yeah.
We might see the production of Mighty Lords first, just because it's easier. It's resin cast. But production is ahead. Everything is tested. Everything is good, and we have the ability and the people and the knowledge and the organization to increase the number of Kickstarters, because that is our public.
Okay.
So yeah.
That is everything. We do have some other stuff that we want to talk about in future updates, like where the Mighty Lords miniatures are going. That's going to be something separate that we're going to put onto the Mighty Lords page, I feel. But yeah, any questions, any hopes, dreams, interactions that you guys want, fire them in. I'm very interested to hear about people's opinions of Dungeoneers. I'm very keen to hear what people want to see when it comes to Conan as well. But otherwise, yeah, hopefully we will get to know each other very well. And through that, you will get to know Ricard and the rest of the team here very well as well.
Anytime.
Yeah, so brilliant.
Cool.
That has been a great use of the morning. And yeah, share this out to everybody. I hope you found it really interesting. And, thanks very much.
Thank you.